Hello, wonderful scholars. I am here back with you again today, talking to you today about target heart rate. So this is a super exciting topic, one that I absolutely love. And we are going to do it in a lab type format today, which is why we're in the fitness center. So you can see the fitness center. So I'm going to go over a couple definitions and I'm going to tell you how to do your lab today. So that's what your video is about today. And then you're going to spend the rest of the time doing the exercises and then inputting that back into the computer as your daily quiz grade for today. So that's kind of how you're getting your points. Remember, all of your other things should be finished. You should have done all of your stuff from earlier this week and submitted that to me. Okay, here we go. Talking about target heart rate today. So it's on the board up here, target heart rate, and our date is our topic. So our warm-up questions. They say, why do you think it's important to know your target heart rate when exercising? And when your heart rate recovers quickly after exercise, what does that say about your fitness levels? So those are the two questions that you're answering for warm-up, and we have defined both of those words earlier, so you can kind of look back in your notes if you need to see what target heart rate is and to see what recovery heart rate is, and maybe make an educated guess onto how you're going to answer those two questions. And as you go through this lab today, you will get the answers to those and you will know exactly why it's important to know your target heart rate when you're exercising and what it means when your heart rate recovers quickly after exercise. Okay, so moving on quickly to our notes, and I know that we have already defined these words, but I want to go over them a little bit better just to make sure that you totally understand them. So target heart rate is the heart rate you should aim for during exercise, okay? So what this does is it lets you know that you are improving your 5 components of fitness, at least one of them. When you are getting up into the vigorous end of your target heart rate zone, you are really working on that cardiovascular endurance, improving that cardiovascular endurance. So this is measuring that intensity and that fit principle that we talked about. So when you are working hard enough, when you're sweating and you're out of breath and your heart is beating really fast, you are improving the strength of your heart. Okay, so that's what target heart rate, that's why it's important to know it. Remember I told you you'd know the answers before we left today? So it's important to know so that you know that you're actually improving your fitness levels, all right? When you think about a strong heart, when your heart beats and it sends blood and oxygen and nutrients to all the muscles, down to your toes, out to your fingertips, right? When your heart is strong, one forceful pump can send that blood to all parts of your body. When your heart is not as strong, it takes a lot of pumps. Your heart rate is going way faster, right? And this is a lot harder to maintain. It's a lot harder on your heart to do this, which is why your heart gets tired and it can get sick. It can get diseases, and it may not pump as long, right? Meaning you wouldn't live quite as long as you would if you have a strong heart, right? One forceful pump of blood is a whole lot more efficient than a whole bunch, right? If you can't pump out as much blood in one strong, you need a whole bunch of not quite as strong to get that blood moving throughout your body, right? So that's why it's important to get your heart rate into that target zone so that you know you're making your heart stronger, okay? Also, this measures the intensity of our exercise. So that's kind of what we were saying. You want to make sure you're getting into that moderate or vigorous exercise zone so that you know you're improving your components of fitness. Same thing when you get into the weightlifting, your heart rate should be up when you're doing those exercises, also improving your muscular strength and endurance. Okay? Your resting heart rate is the number of times your heart beats in 1 minute while at rest. The normal is 60 to 90 beats per minute. And the lower your resting heart rate, the stronger your heart is, okay? And that goes straight back to what I was just saying, right? Your heart in 1 minute, when you're at rest, how many times does it beat, right? 60 to 90 is normal, and we're gonna measure ours today. But when it is stronger, it doesn't need to beat as much, right? It can move slow like this because it's got that forceful pump and that blood is being distributed to your whole body. So when it's not as strong, it has to go a lot faster. And when you're just sitting here at rest, your heart is going this fast so that it can try to keep up with what your body needs. And that's just a signal that your heart might not be that strong. If your if you feel like your resting heart rate is really high, like maybe it's 90 or 100 or higher, it's something you can change. It's something that you can improve upon. So, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you are unhealthy right now, but it's a precursor to being unhealthy later in life, right? So the more that we exercise, the stronger that our heart gets. But we have to be exercising in our target heart rate zone to be strengthening our heart. Okay, then we have our very last one, which is recovery heart rate. So make sure you know this about resting heart rate, that the normal is 60 to 90 beats per minute. And the lower your resting heart rate, the stronger your heart. So if your heart rate is lower, your resting heart rate is lower, your heart is stronger. Okay? Your recovery heart rate is how long it takes your heart to return to normal after exercise. And again, when your heart recovers more quickly, your heart is in better shape. So that means when, let's say during exercise, everyone's heart rate goes up during exercise because your body needs more blood, more oxygen, more nutrients. So your heart's got to pump more blood, oxygen, and nutrients, so your heart rate goes up. So how long does it take for your heart to get back to normal how long after exercise does it take for your heart to get back to its resting heart rate zone, right? The shorter amount of time, the faster your heart rate drops, the stronger your heart is, right? Your heart is able to recover more quickly. And you'll know that like when you run the mile, like after you run the mile, maybe you walk for a little bit and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm feeling okay. Like I went, got a drink, I'm feeling good. Or you went and you ran and you are like, oh, I can't even go any farther. And it takes you a really long time to get back to being like, okay, I feel all right now. That's the recovery heart rate. That's you feeling the effects of that exercise. The longer you feel the effects, the weaker your heart is at that right now, right? And that's something you can change. Okay, so in here, we are gonna do a little lab today. The first thing that you're gonna do is take your resting heart rate. That's something that has to get done. So I am going to be sitting over here by this first treadmill, right? And it will, this is where you're gonna take your resting heart rate, okay? So you're gonna stand up on here, just on the sides of this, so you're not actually gonna be walking. You'll put your hands on here and your heart rate should come up on the screen right here. And I'll be sitting here helping you do that. So that's step one, is to do your resting heart rate, okay? Step two is to pick any type of exercise that you would like to do. So you can pick the treadmill, the bike, the elliptical, or you can do the weight stations. It's totally up to you, but taking your resting heart rate is first. You're gonna do 12 minutes of exercise. You're gonna be measuring using the heart rate sensors, your heart rate at 1, 2, 5, 10, and 12 minutes. And you're gonna write that number down on your sheet of paper here, okay? You're gonna make every attempt to get your heart rate into the vigorous target heart rate zone by the 10-minute mark. Slow down your exercise significantly once you've gotten to 12 minutes, once you finish, and then you're gonna complete a 3-minute cool down. You'll measure your heart rate each minute, and you're gonna write those down on the back side of this little sheet right here, okay? When you're done with all of this, you're gonna complete your assignment in Canvas. Okay, so for this, you need to know how to calculate your target heart rate. So we're gonna do that really quickly. I did this for an 11-year-old, and you should write this. This is on your test, so you should write these steps down in your notebook, because you're gonna have to figure out somebody who's not your age, their target heart rate. So you're gonna need to know these formulas and how to do this. So write this down in your notebook, and you have to calculate your own, obviously, also. So, okay, so step one is to take 220 and subtract your age. So a lot of you are 11, some of you are 12. 220 minus 11 is 209. 220 minus 12 is 208, okay? Now you're gonna figure out the vigorous zone of your target heart rate. So that's 70 to 85% of your maximum heart rate. So our maximum heart rate is this up here, okay? This is our maximum heart rate right here. So I'm gonna take 209 and I'm gonna multiply by 0.70. So if you do that, you should have, you can do a calculator on your Chromebook here. So I have one on my phone. I'm gonna take 209, I'm gonna multiply by 0.77. 170, and I get 146. Okay, so that's what I wrote down here. I'm going to do the same thing, take my answer from step 1, which is 209, and multiply by 0.85, and you get 178. Okay, so your vigorous heart rate zone, which is where you want to be by the time you get to 10 minutes in this exercising today, is between 146 and 178. Your moderate zone is 50% of your maximum heart rate to 70%. Well, we already figured out 70%, so we already know that one. Okay, so then we do the same thing, take our answer from step 1, which is 209, and we multiply by 0.50, which is about half, right? 0.5 is half of 209, which is about 105. We rounded up from 104.5. So your moderate zone of your target heart rate is 105 to 146. Okay? All right. If you have questions about how to figure out the target heart rate zone, and I am going to provide you with this piece of paper and obviously these little pieces of paper to complete during your time in the fitness center today. But if you don't understand or you need help figuring that out, let me know, because you do need to know how to do that. It is on your test. And then once you're done, you're going to come back to your computer, and for your quiz today, there's questions that you need to answer about, and it's not like in a quiz format, it's more of a Google form format, that you are going to answer and do the assignment for, and that is for your points for today. All right, guys, I hope you have a great rest of the day. I hope you have a great weekend, because it's Friday, woohoo! And just remember that you all are amazing in some special, amazing way. Okay, bye.